Welcome to the Belfield Show. My name is Larry Belfield. I'm a realtor in your area, and I thank you for joining me. On this show, we've been delving into the history of real estate. On the previous episode, I asked that you would please look up a few of history's greatest men to actually try to find some truth behind who they were and how they did what they did or became who they became. This week, we've also touched on empires. There are few great empires that have taken over the known world, and their influence is apparent, all but apparent today. We've grown out of these systems. We basically are these systems. These systems have become one, and now basically thousands of years later, here we are. So, what has sprung out of these empires? What are we actually seeing here? Okay, if we get into it here, let me get a little timer here. Okay. If we delve into it here, this is about ascension, architecture, and assassination. The Crusades, the Caliphate, Jerusalem. It's one giant war. After much searching and investigating, I found that this actually isn't the war that we think it is. You see here, each of these people have the same account and record of the fall of Jerusalem. The genocide, the destruction of the cities, the enslavement of the righteous people. As you can see these examples, there are a few instances from the conflict we call the Crusades. What we have here on the population mapping is basically seeing the path that the Crusaders took to go where they were going. Now we're seeing a transition in mankind. See, we're no longer kings and castles. We're becoming empires. Empires may be started and led by men. However, they are survived and kept thriving by those that believe in them most. Empires are not run by men either. They're upheld by a team of responsible individuals that span the entire length and breadth of the kingdom. This means that any smart person may find a place in service of the people. Anyone can join the team of leading the people. So the Crusades is change. Change of power from kings to a conglomeratic type of government. This time is considered one of the most savage times in human history. There are some kings that have viziers and teams of smart, educated personnel to help run their country. However, during this time, it seems that kings are being targeted for their behavior, good or bad. See, good kings are in line with the people. They prosper and have long reigns. Whereas rulers that have unworthy qualities are being challenged by their own people. Through this short list of Roman rulers, you can see the rise and fall of the empire come and go as the rulers that have honor and the rulers that do not. During this time, there are so many murders of political leaders that they actually give this deed a new name. There are so many people in power that are being murdered. They actually started to call it assassination. When someone of great importance and great power is murdered for basically their power and beliefs. See, this is now war with leaders that do not represent the people's best interest. There is a team comprised of Christians, Jews, Muslims, Romans, British, Greeks, and the tribes of the Northern Silk Road. During this time, all history books point to men that are written down for wrongdoing, and they're held to account. And if necessary, they're pulled out of power by any means. See, I can understand why these religions are known for such terrorism. You have the death toll of the Christians, the death toll of the Muslims, and the death toll of the Jews. See, people of faith in this world have suffered a great deal. They say that 109 million Muslims were slaughtered in the seizure of Jerusalem. Now, these acts can't be explained away lightly. The political atmosphere must have been deafening to know that your brother and sister of faith are being murdered for what they believe. There is a mass of tens of thousands of soldiers coming to destroy your city. Or you live in oppression under a harsh ruler that decides to treat you and your people less than animals, enslaving you and raising your cost to live. For all of history, there has been rulers that have done some very wicked acts. However, now there's a big change. The entire region is now connected. Now, if there's any trouble in any part, someone will come. Be it the Caliphate, the Christians, or the Jews. And there is evidence of interfaith exchange. Christians helping Muslims, and Jews helping and aiding Christians and Muslims. Like, these groups don't just interact for fighting. They also bring aid for what happens after war. They also give protection. See, the main weapon that these people use is being helpful after a tragedy has already taken place. After a place is ravaged, the church will show up in mass. They will get food and water and start a farm and bring men for building and fixing things and the word of God. They would seed the foundation for a new city, starting with the house of God. And if a robber wants to destroy that, now he would have to destroy every soul here. But this time, it will be defended.